Hello everybody, for today's episode we're going to be making a CSGO radar hack. This is just going to set the radar to be on where we can see enemies through walls and all that in the good old minimap. Now this is going to be episode 5 of the CSGO multi-hack series. In each episode we add a new feature, and at the very end we combine all the features into one large multi-hack and make it all VAC undetected. The code for this will be available in the description on a GitHub post. It's no longer on gameofrussell.club for the time being because the website is down, and there's going to be new episodes every week. I made a playlist down in the description, so go save that playlist if you want to go look through all the videos. Before we jump right into coding, I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers a subscription-based plan that gives its members access to a wide variety of educational courses. Skillshare has many topics to learn, such as, but not limited to, video production, web development, and programming. Skillshare's high-quality courses and videos make learning a new topic easy. Skillshare members get access to thousands of high-quality classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a community of millions. If you're like me and enjoy film, you might enjoy the fundamentals of DSLR photography taught by Justin Briggs. Or you might enjoy picking up a new programming language on Skillshare. Start your 2020 year off right, whether you're advanced in a topic or dabbling in a new field. Skillshare has classes that can fit your learning style and schedule. Skillshare is incredibly affordable with an annual subscription that's less than $10 a month. Learn something new this year. Click the link in the description to get 2 free months of premium membership and explore your creativity. Before getting into coding, I would highly recommend disabling Valve AntiCheat VAC just to develop safely, because you don't know what's going to happen. It'd even be best to just make a second Steam account since CSGO is free, just to test on and all of that. Alright, so for our IDE, we will be using Visual Studio Community. I'm on Community 2017. 2019 at the time is out. You can download that if you haven't downloaded anything yet. It really doesn't matter, there's not much difference. But we're going to go up here to File, New, and click Project. From here we're going to go to Visual C++ and select Empty Project. Now you can name this whatever you want. I'll name it something like CSGO Radar Hack. And keep in mind the file location at which this is, because this will be the same location where the .exe will be built, so if you want to run it as administrator, you run it from there. But anyways, we can go to empty project, make sure that's selected, and hit OK, and it will generate everything. Now it should be blank, there shouldn't be anything here. You want to come over to Solution, Explorer, and right click on Source Files, hover over Add, and select New Item. Now here we want to select a .cpp, C++ file is what that is, and we can rename this to something like main.cpp. Now this code is going to be pretty simple, especially compared to the other episodes. And do keep in mind, all the code will be available online. The link to the GitHub will be in the description. Now there is only 2 preprocessor directives that we're going to be using. A preprocessor directive is just a hashtag include like this, windows.h for the Windows API with read and writing and all that stuff, and a T1 help 32, which will be used for getting module base address and things like that. Now furthermore, there is only 2 offsets that we're going to be using, DW entity list and m_be spotted. So if you want to make sure these are up to date, you can go to Haze Dumper, and you can choose to update these yourself with dumping them yourself, or you can wait for Haze Dumper to update whenever the game updates. So the game updated like yesterday or so, and Haze Dumper has the last game update on it. They are usually pretty fast with updating everything. But you can copy the name of it, go over here, do Control F, and it will find it, and just copy the address and paste it in here. That's how you make sure it's up to date. Now there is going to be 3 global variables that we have. So this is going to be a D word, and we're going to name this DWPID. This next one is going to be a handle, and we can just name this H process. And right here we're just declaring things. We'll define these later. And now we have D word client. Okay. So this next thing, this next 3 things I'm going to paste in. This first one's going to be get module. This is a function we use a lot to get the module base address of a function or a module. Pretty simple. And this next one's going to be a template for RPM. RPM stands for read process memory. This really, it's a template as it sounds like. It makes using the read process memory function easier for us, and it does save us some time. And this next one is going to be a template for WPM, write process memory. Same thing, makes using the write process memory function easier for us. And we can minimize this by clicking this little button right here. It just helps clear up the code. And if I'm going too fast for you, again, the code will be online in the description. So let's actually get started. So we're going to do void, and the reason we do void is because this isn't going to return a value. Void literally means nothing. So void main, there's going to be no parameters inside of these parentheses. And actually, before I get too far in, I want to give a shout out to a Discord user and a friend, sex offender Sally. He did help with this code and did provide it also. Now we have right here, I'll just paste this in because I want this to be a generally fast video since this isn't too much of a complex topic. Really all it is just changing a bool from false to true. So we're going to do get window thread process ID, and inside of this function we're going to do another function, and we're going to do find window A. So we're going to get the process ID by giving this the window. So now that we have the process ID of CSGO, we want to open up a handle or a process way of communication. So we're going to use the open process function, and we're going to give ourselves process underscore all access. The reason we do all access is because we're going to be both reading and writing memory. This middle one, this inherit value, we're just going to set this to 0. And we obviously need to tell the thing what we need access to. So we need access to CSGO, and the way we identify CSGO is by the PID process ID. And next we're actually going to get the module base address for the module client underscore panorama.dll, which is a module of CSGO. And now that we have all that done, we can do a while true. So this is an infinite loop. It's just going to keep running and running because it's always going to be true. So in this, we're going to do a for loop. The reason we're going to do a for loop is to cycle through all the entities. So for int I, and we're going to set this to its initial value as equal to 1. And as long as I is less than 64, because 64 is the max people you can have in a CSGO game, and then we're going to increment it each time it runs through. This is what this plus plus does. So the reason we do this is because 1 represents player 1, 2 represents player 2, and so on and so forth. And you'll see the necessity of this in this next part. So we're going to do dword, dw current entity is equal to, and here we use the RPM template that we made, and the type we're going to put inside of these little curved or pointy brackets is going to be dword because that's the type that we're going to be reading. And we'll do client, and as you see right here, we did define what client was. So client plus, and this is where our define up here for entity list comes in handy. This is the same thing as doing that, but it looks so much better when you actually put in it like this. And it helps when you start to reach the part where you have like hundreds of offsets and addresses for big projects. So right here we're going to do plus I, and keep in mind I is equal to this up here, plus I, and now times the hexadecimal value of 10. Now it's necessary that you understand this part if you want to understand how this code works. This will cycle through over and over again. One time you'll be focusing on player number 1, player number 2, player number 3, and so on and so forth, because you want to be able to modify each player in the game. And this times hexadecimal value of 10 is because there's a distance of 10 and DW entity list between each entity. So we're going to have another if statement, and this is going to be DW current entity. Now when we say DW current entity and there's nothing else in there, this is the same thing as doing equals to true. So right here we're going to use the WPM template this time, and we're going to put bool because bool is the type that we want to be writing. And we'll do DW current enemy plus the offset for spotted. So this is this right here. Again, it's the same thing as doing this, but it looks a lot better when you don't do that. And we'll do comma, and the value we want to set this to is true. So for each entity, we're going to set their spotted value to true where they are spotted on the radar. And right here, we're going to do sleep, and we're going to put in 50. You can change this value. Keep in mind this is milliseconds, not seconds. So each time this runs through, it will be waiting that time. And we'll put this right here. Actually, we want this inside the while true loop. And the reason we actually have this is, so say you have a bad CPU and you want to limit your CPU usage, well, you can set this to a higher value. My computer is pretty good, so I'd even be fine if I had this on 0 probably, but it's not like enemies are going to be moving 50, like a lot of distance at 50 milliseconds. But now let's actually go ahead and test all this. So we can either come over here and build the solution, or we can run it in local Windows debugger. You will sometimes have issues though if you're not a administrator level user on your computer. So you might need to come over here and build it, wait for that to build, and head over to the file location. So this is where the file is stored. Head over there and just right click and run the exe as an admin. But I am fine, so I can just do local Windows debugger. So yeah, now you can see that the enemies are spotted on the minimap, and I can see this guy coming up. And I hope you did enjoy this. This was definitely more of a simple hack compared to the other things we've done in this series, but it's something that is worth going over. Anyways, peace out.